If you're at a baseball game, even if you catch it fair and square, even if your hand happens to be up and it magically flies right into it, you find the nearest kid and you give them the ball and you create a memory that lasts a lifetime. That's what baseball is all about.
Hey everybody, it's Jack Cocchiarella, and I am so excited to be joined by two of my good friends, Congressman Ro Khanna and, of course, Cam Kasky. We've got a lot to talk about today, but Cam, want to go ahead and open us up?
Hey everyone, it's Cam from Bulwark. I wanted to do the intro. Cameron Kasky, activist. Some Indian people call me Gora the Explorer. There's so much we want
Looks
to
like he's auditioning for Jimmy Kimmel's open spot. Huh?
Hire me, everybody. That one was just for the aunties, but I'm good for everybody else too. There's so much to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining us. But we just got the news that Jimmy Kimmel is being indefinitely pulled from networks everywhere because he made comments that I guess Trump didn't like about the Charlie Kirk shooting. We wanted to talk about free speech today anyway, and we had kind of made that decision before we got this breaking news. What is your immediate reaction to something like that?
For folks who ran against cancel culture, they certainly have a fondness for canceling people. Have you noticed this? I mean, canceling Jimmy Kimmel, telling employers to fire folks who put social media posts that they don't like. I had a spat with Vice President Vance when there was this big balls person. He was in his 20s, and he said, Indians don't belong in the country or Indian hate. And I said, before you rehire him, why not just have him apologize? And Vance lost it and went on a rant against me and saying, we can't just hold dumb social media posts against someone. The kid deserves a second chance. I don't know what happened to that JD Vance. 3 months later, he's out there telling people in the country to call kids' employers and get them fired. But of course, this is a kind of a Vance dance. I mean, one day he calls Trump Hitler. The other day he's telling Trump's the greatest. One day he's saying don't fire kids for their social media posts. Other times he's saying call people's employers and fire people for their social media posts. There's no core there. There's no belief.
That's what's so interesting to me, because it's like, don't call us Nazis unless you're JD Vance, and then we'll make you vice president. And we're not going to cancel people for their social media posts, except I've had friends who have been fired for their jobs for actually just resharing Charlie Kirk's own words. It's the fascinating thing here is
Really?
You can just post his own words, and they are themselves so inflammatory that it now is a problem. Why do you think in an era in which clearly conservatives have their feelings hurt all the time and are willing to go after anyone and use the government, not just complain or maybe rally online to try to say, we don't like what this person said, but use the federal government to intimidate? Why isn't it that when people think about who is fighting for free speech, they think about liberals? Because I don't think that's the case right now. I think it's wrong. I think they should. But why don't you think that's front of people's minds?
Because we weren't clear advocates for free speech in recent years, and we need to get back to being the party of free speech. When I wrote about the Twitter files, when Twitter was taking off suspending the New York Post journalist for putting a Hunter Biden story, my private email leaked, and I was out there saying, no, you shouldn't be taking down a story just because you don't like it. Now, I think the Hunter Biden story was bogus, but we didn't have enough liberals speaking up for free speech. When I said that the comedian who made awful transphobic jokes, which I criticize, shouldn't be arrested at Heathrow Airport, I had people jump on me for that. If you believe in free speech, you've got to be consistent in advocating for free speech. And I think our party needs to be honest that there was a sense of having to be somewhat politically correct and censor yourself. And there was a backlash against that. But now the administration that ran on that is engaged in cancel culture and engaged in Palmer-like potential raids. And so we have an opportunity to reclaim free speech for our party.
But do you think we need to make the distinction first between saying that if I don't believe what someone says, I can vote with my feet or my wallet or whatever it may be, and that Donald Trump is doing something entirely different? Do you think we need to first make that case, or do you think we just need to be all in on making sure that we're protecting free speech?
Well, I think we need to make the distinction between what the government is doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, government infringing on speech is the worst. Mm-hmm. But I do think that having private, large social media companies or private institutions creating a censoring of speech or a societal censoring of speech isn't great as well. And I think to have honesty, to say we now are going to consistently be the party of free speech. We were the party that was going to stand up for it, or people in our party did, and we're going to stand up for it when Vance is in power. Because I think that the important thing to get back the trust of the American people is everything can't be looked at from a prism of anti-Trump. It's discounted by at least half the country. They just tune out. They're like, we've heard of this for 10 years. What we have to lead with is principle. And that principle should be the principle of freedom of speech, and say now they're violating it.
That always annoys me so much, is when everybody's acting like this is Trump, Trump, Trump. And I'm like, no, it's also the entire party that is supporting him unilaterally. It's like when people blame everything that's happening in Gaza right now on Netanyahu. And it's like, no, the only vocal critics of him in his own government are the people who say he's not extremist enough for them. But to the free speech thing, I'm kind of wondering, like, other than winning the messaging war and framing things differently, in terms of direct action right now that Congress can take, is there anything that can be done to prevent things like, Trump bullying somebody off the air from happening?
We need to have more people speak out of what's going on. I mean, what Pam Bondi said is chilling, that they're going to go after hate speech. What Vance said is chilling, that they're going to have people call your employer and get you fired. What Stephen Miller said is the most chilling, that they're going to go after left-wing groups like the Ford Foundation, which isn't even that left, and the Open Society Foundation, and take away their tax-exempt status. And then that they're engaged in retribution for speech they don't like. I have a piece coming out in the Wall Street Journal defending speech. By the way, I had that piece defending speech come out when the Twitter files happened, and when I defended the right of the New York Post to put that Hunter Biden piece. So I have a record of standing for speech. But this is the time where those of us who have defended speech, who have defended the First Amendment, need to be vocal and need to sound the 5-alarm fire on what is going on here with this administration that is targeting people who they disagree with and taking away their speech, and we've got to speak out about it.
I'm conflicted about one specific thing here, which is like, I was talking to a libertarian at a birthday party this weekend, which sounds like the beginning of a joke, and we were talking about AI chatbots sending sexually suggestive messages to young children. And I think that there's something that a lot of the free speech absolutists will say that, regulating that becomes government overreach and everything. And Meta is trying at every turn to prevent there being any state level regulations on that. When you're talking to the free speech absolutists, is there a simple way that works for you to talk about what defending free speech means while there's also certain things running rampant that are just unacceptable?
Sure. Well, first of all, you can protect kids and minors. They don't have the same free speech First Amendment protection under our court. And it's absurd to say that you can't prevent sexually explicit content from going to minors. Of course you should. That's why I support the Kids Online Safety Act. That would help ensure this. And Meta is just wrong. They've been lobbying against that Kids Online Safety Act, but we need more protection for our young kids. And there is a standard that the Supreme Court has articulated, the imminent incitement of violence. And if there was someone who was having speech that was imminently inciting violence against Charlie Kirk or other people, they should face the consequences. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who are criticizing Charlie Kirk's views. We're talking about people who are making hideous jokes, even if they're jokes. That's not supposed to be prosecutable, and it's not supposed to get you fired or get you off air. The problem is that very few people are truly supporters of free speech and free expression. They are free expression if we agree with you. So not free expression if it's going to be a political scandal we disagree with, like Hunter Biden. No. Then we're not for free speech. Not free speech for the New York Post. And on the right, we're seeing, well, not free speech if it's going to be for the left. Well, then you're not really a consistent advocate of the First Amendment. We, as a country, if we want to build a cohesive multiracial democracy, the one thing we can't do is silence each other. We can't disrespect each other. We need to be willing to listen to where they're coming from, even if we vehemently disagree.
And someone who's being silenced right now, to pivot, of course, to the conversation of the day, the week, the month, the year, it seems like, is it's not just there's a cover-up for Donald Trump as it relates to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I feel like the cover-up and trying to hide any information about Epstein's associates is also so key. I think the administration understands you begin to pull on that thread, it all unravels. We see the DOJ blocking right now. I believe it's the release of 2 names of Epstein associates. One was wired $100,000, the other $250,000. You were able to procure and make public this birthday book because you took a different route than just trying to approach going through James Comer or the DOJ. What do we know about Epstein associates that could potentially lead us down a path to more information right now that maybe, we haven't heard so far? Is there any news that you have to break, maybe? Any new updates?
Well, we're going to get, of course, the 218th vote, the signatory on the petition on September 29th, and then get a vote to release all the files. But what I will say this is you just had the Kash Patel tell people, well, there's no other individual involved in the Epstein trafficking. And the survivors themselves are saying, no, there are. And the lawyers themselves are saying, no, there are. And the documents that we believe are there will show that there were many people involved in a cover-up and people involved in this farm system. So we need to have justice for the survivors, and we need to expose this corruption.
My final question, this is a very important one. If the camera is showing that I don't have long socks right now, just crop that out and keep me saying that in this video. So it's a very troublesome time, authoritarianism, violence, terrible things. What are you doing to chill? Like, how are you kicking back?
Oh, look, I of course, I love watching movies on United flights from D.C. to.
Is United your go-to?
United is my go-to, and I'm usually like a year behind because if you notice, they never have like the good new stuff. It's like that, but whatever they have on the movies of choice.
What has enchanted you lately?
Well, what's the last one I saw? I saw a movie that Jesse
Real Pain?
Yeah.
It's good, wasn't it?
That was good. It was about him going to see the Holocaust and his story about his brother. I've seen more. I mean, but I see one probably every other trip. And then I'm a 49ers fan. We're 2-0. Phillies
Mac
fan.
Jones stepped up. It was big time, wasn't it?
It was big time. And Fred.
Ro, are you going to leave me right here? What are we doing?
Warner. And Fred Warner had a big game. We're injured with Purdy and
Kittle.
It's been tough. But I think we're gonna have a decent season. The Phillies came back last night. I don't know you follow the Phillies.
Cam's got some baseball thoughts. I'm just going to let this happen.
I've been staying with Jack all week, and he's just been
Where
watching.
have you been staying with Jack, though? Because you made this point last go around.
At your apartment?
No, but in my queen-size bed.
Oh, yes. We've been sharing a queen-size bed like Bert and Ernie. And I've been watching so much baseball. And I got to tell you, the Giants are in a position right now where you can do some real stuff really soon. I mean, Willie Adames is phenomenal, and you guys are playing real baseball. It hasn't been the right year.
I got to be honest, I'm a 49ers fan, but a Phillies fan because I grew up in Philadelphia. So I was following the Phillies Dodgers last night, which I said to someone today, probably an exaggeration, is a symbol for America's comeback. We were down. I think we were down six runs, and then they took Otami out, and then the Phillies came back 9-6. So don't give up on the country.
Oh, I saw.
We can come back.
Oh, I saw, because I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan, and we were ahead of the whole league like 9 games. And then the Phillies just decided to play the most disgustingly good baseball you've seen in a very long time and just continue competing and putting runs on the board. And suddenly they are now right on our tail, and they're playing World Series baseball. And it pains me to say that, but it is what it is. Final question now, I guess, since you opened up that can of worms, is what was your reaction to the video of the lady stealing the baseball from the kid?
I saw that.
I've got some thoughts on this. Please let me hear.
Well, again, to me, that was a symbol, both the lady stealing it, and then did you see there was the one before of the CEO stealing
getting called?
With the tennis ball.
With the tennis ball. And to me, it was like a symbol for our society, which is there are 2 ways of building value. One is like you build stuff, and then the other is like you're a taker. And I think part of the whole problem with the economy is it rewards too many takers, not builders. And the CEO in particular was he was the type of guy who like knows how to take.
It's very planned.
Yeah,
Do you think, so here's my thing, and we can cut this if this is too controversial.
No.
Keep it in.
For me, it was like, all right, that was a terrible move. Did not like the woman like going up, yelling, the angles, didn't look great. But does someone need to have like their whole life ruined because they behaved inappropriately at a baseball game?
Is her whole life ruined?
I don't know. It seems like,
you
a
had
lot of
that
people were
whole
giving her shit.
Coldplay video of and like everyone's like forgotten about it, right? Like
I'm sure they haven't. I'm sure their employers haven't. We may forget about that lady, but Philly is not a super forgiving town.
You don't think like he'll have like some book of redemption and some talk show?
I'm glad that's how you think, bro. You're like, this person was awful. When can we get them redeemed? That is the outlook of America that we need right now.
But I agree she shouldn't have her life ruined over it. But you can't. Here's the rule: if you're at a baseball game, you're at a tennis game, and there's a kid, I'd say let's call it under 14, who gets something. Don't take it from them.
No, that's the thing.
So
even if you catch the ball.
Ro Khanna says if there's a 15-year-old kid, you can take things from them because you made the cutoff at 14.
Listen, if you're at a baseball game, even if you catch it fair and square, even if your hand happens to be up and it magically flies right into it, you find the nearest kid and you give them the ball and you create a memory that lasts a lifetime. That's what baseball is all about.
I used to go to the vet back when I was growing up at the Phillies games. And first we were at the 700 level, so I never caught a ball. But then even when we would have better seats, I never ever managed to get a baseball at a game. And now, of course, like a member of Congress, I can get a ball, but it's meaningless to me.
Is that why you did it? Is that why you ran?
It's like, no, but it's like the whole point is like it has a different meaning to get a ball at a game. And I never got that. I used to collect baseball cards. I used to go to baseball card shows. So that used to be a real passion. So if a kid, that can make the whole year to get a ball. So.
Or if you see you at a baseball game and you catch it, give it to your local congressman.
Listen, everybody, no matter where you're sitting at the Phillies game, it seems like fucking Schwarber is going to be able to hit a ball right to you. So
there you go.
I hope you Phillies fans are happy right now. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.